they gotta
Nadia?
do.
Mommy. Yes, buddy? Did you put on your shirt? Oh.
All right, we'll wait a couple minutes, see if there's anyone else that needs to join, and then we'll get started. All right. Hopefully everyone's on that needs to be here. So we'll get started. I think Amara is going to share her screen to get through the slides. So I'm Bailey. We'll go through introductions too.
Sorry, give me just 1 second. I'm trying to get the PowerPoint started. All right, can everybody see the PowerPoint? Okay. All right, well, if we can see it, I'll let you take it away, Bailey.
All right. Welcome to the 2021-2022 YEC Series webinar. My name is Bailey Henry. I am the product manager for e-community programs. I'm going to be your point person for anything YEC, kind of helping Amara out now. I can be reached anytime through my cell phone number, which you'll be able to go to the next slide tomorrow. Through my cell phone number, which is listed here, 844-1706, or through my email, bhenry@networkkansas.com. I'm just an additional resource available to you, as well as your regional manager. So reach out to me if you have any questions or anything. Yeah. I'm about a month in, so I'm learning, but I've got a great teacher. So, so we'll talk about why entrepreneurship matters, the kind of the why we do what we do. So the goal is to provide hands-on entrepreneurial experience for youth across the state of Kansas, helps them see entrepreneurship as a viable career option, helps them feel more connected to their communities, and empowers them to see problems and create solutions in their own backyard. And their potential idea for a business could become a real business and, you know, help those small town communities stay vibrant. So how we got here, the YEC began 2013-2014 academic school year in Northwest Kansas. Obviously has since expanded to the entire state, with state championship being held at Kansas State. The comp started out with 5 competitions, 48 students, have grown to 44 competitions with almost 900 students in the middle of a pandemic. So there's an appetite for it, and we're trying to kind of help that out. So some of the important dates as we get started with the school year and YEC season, November 12th is going to be the deadline to get your event sanctioned. The 25th is the deadline to host your event by. So all competitions need to be concluded by March 25th. March 31st is when the summaries are due to K-State for KEC. The 8th is when they announce the finalists, and then April 28th is when the state competition is held at K-State. Some of the, kind of rules to be considered part of the series and be a sanctioned competition. The location must be in Kansas. Student must reside in Kansas, and it must be open to high school. It can be one grade, it can be multiple grades, but it has to be open to a grade 9 through 12. So it can include junior high as well, but at least someone in high school needs to be included. And it must include a written executive summary as well as a 4-minute presentation. And that can be, the 4-minute presentation can be done formally. It can be done in a trade show. It can be done in a mock boardroom. That's pretty flexible, but it does require a presentation component. We are partnered with the Masons to put on the series. So there does need to be a Mason as part of the judging team. It does need to follow the marketing guideline. The prizes are not mandatory, but they cannot exceed $3,500. And then there's kind of some more breakdowns on individual prizes for second, third. And like I mentioned, you must apply for the sanction by November 12th or prior to your competition. So if your competition is in October, you need to apply to be sanctioned prior to your competition date. So don't wait till the 12th if your event's before that. And it must take place before March 25th. And non-e-communities, there is a $1,500 sanction fee if you're not an e-community, but if the e-community is putting it on, that is waived as a benefit of the partnership. And students can only compete in one event per year, and you can only organize one event per year. So I'll pass off to Amara to kind of go over some of the Venture Dash updates and things we have there.
Thank you, Bailey. Give me just a second and I'm gonna get the Venture Dash up and going. But everybody, again, that's Bailey Henry, our new hire. She's been hired on to lead YEC under my direction. So she's gonna be your point of contact for YEC. She's been doing a fantastic job so far. She has experience in her former job with the Manhattan Chamber, was also an intern at Wabaunsee County Economic Development. So she's been through YEC before, very knowledgeable and eager to help you with any questions. So I'm gonna start into my part about Venture Dash. And I'm just gonna go through a little demo event that I have set up. A lot of you are likely very familiar with Venture Dash. Everybody had to sign up on the sanction application last year. And most of you, the vast majority, used Venture Dash for your event. I just want to emphasize that it's very customizable. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. Since we've all used it before, I'm not going to go super in depth, but I'm just going to hit the high notes to kind of remind you about all of the different neat things that you can do with it. So this is our sample event, just a fake event that I created in there to show you guys. And when you make your event, you know that you land in the details page, which is basically your home page where you have all your basic information. And as a reminder, your event does get the preview or the landing page, which you can preview here. That's how all of your students, teachers, judges will sign up for your event.
All right, hang on. I needed to log on to a webinar.
If you're not speaking, can you please mute yourself? Thank you so much. So here you can add different people to your events. I've got all of our team, our Network Kansas team on here listed as co-hosts, so you can definitely do that. And you can also customize the components on this detail page. So for YEC, everybody's going to be required to have the executive summary and the formal presentation. That's going to show up automatically, but you can add or delete components at any time. You could even make yourself a custom component if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to have an additional new phase to your competition. So when you are navigating through Venture Dash, you can go through all of your steps on this timeline on the side. So it's going to prompt you to do everything you need to do to complete your event setup. I showed you the components on the details page. You can also customize your sign up forms. So all of these roles, the entrepreneur, judge, mentor, and business, have sign up forms in here, which you can customize. So for your entrepreneurs, we're asking them their name and email, what school they attend. You can add that on there. You can add other questions if you want to ask them about their grade or anything else you can think of. It's the same for business. You can add it. Venture Dash just asks them their business name, but if you want more information, you can definitely add that. You do have the opportunity to customize things like your scoring preferences. So whether or not you want the businesses to see their detailed scores or to see their comments from judges. And even with the leaderboard, you can choose how you want that visible, whether to the businesses or maybe even to the public. And if you want to create divisions, I know some events do just a middle school division, just high school division, where they have them separate. So you're able to do that as well. And then before, during, and after your event, we have little timelines for those as well. So the software is meant to guide you through the entire process of organizing and executing an event. And if you come into your main page here on Venture Dash, which again is the details page, you'll see two other tabs, which are called people and scoring. And so you can access everything listed in the timeline through these tabs as well. So if you come over to the people tab, you can see everyone who signed up for your event, judges, mentors, entrepreneurs. You can see all of your businesses, your sign up forms. So what you want to ask them when they sign up for your event. You have the option to be able to send announcements and surveys to participants and even to check them in on the day of the event. And then on your scoring tab, that's where you'll assign judges, approve scores, and this is where you can also view your leaderboard. So there are a lot of options to customize the event in here, and it will guide you through the whole process. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Bailey at any time, and we're happy to help. I did have one more thing to show you. Let's see if I can. All right, so the Venture Dash Help Center is another thing I just wanted to highlight. You can access this at venture-zendesk.com or on the actual Venture Dash site, there's a link to the Help Center. And so it'll bring you to our Help Center, and it looks like this. You have to have your event, your YEC event, created and sanctioned and be logged in order to see the YEC resources. But when you log in, you'll see right here on the right-hand side, there's a box that says YEC resources. So you can click on that and you'll have all of the resources. They're divided up into sections. So we've got planning, basically documents to help you get started with your event. We've got best practices. So a lot of different things like the marketing guide that Bailey mentioned, condensed notes from our summit, how to work with teachers, how to work with schools, those kinds of things are all in there. We have tutorials specifically for Venture Dash. Then we also in this education section have things for each of the components, the executive summary, etc., where you can find templates and guidelines and things like that. And then there's also a Ksu curriculum that Bailey's going to talk a little bit more about in a few minutes, and that link will be added in here too. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. And Bailey, I will hand it back to you.
All right. So you can see this is kind of some of the things you're able to do on Venture Dash. There's the resource guide. There's a lot of things that are available to you there. So scoring system, resource library, contact information, timeline, and then whether you use Venture Dash or not, that is where you'll have to apply to sanction your event by November 12th. So even if you don't use it for your day of competition, it does have some awesome tools that make some of the paper judging a little bit easier if you do everything online, live score updates. There's a lot of things you can do. So whether you use it or not, you'll have to at least kind of use it to sanction your event.
Everything.
And obviously with COVID and, the way that we've been dealing with everything lately, there are some things that Venture Dash does allow for that makes having a virtual event a little bit easier. You can meet the series requirements very easily. You can make it as similar to in-person as being in person. And it's pretty easy to convert some of the elements to virtual. You can have students submit pre-recorded videos. You can do a Zoom or a virtual meeting to do the presentations or trade shows, or have them present their product to you. And if you do the pre-recorded, those can be shared on your social media publicly, kind of get everyone excited for YEC, keep everyone updated. So obviously being virtual isn't ideal, but it's not always a bad thing. It allows us to be more connected. So students, if they do live Zoom and you open it to the public, maybe their grandma in Arizona can join. So there's some perks to being virtual as well. It's not all bad, but obviously in person sometimes a little bit better. And that's up to preference as well. Some people enjoyed having a virtual event last year and want to keep some of those components that way. We do encourage students to use a non-school email if they do some virtual components, just because there are some restrictions potentially with school emails. And when you do your event, when you're wrapping it up, you can do a live Zoom at the end, you can have guest speakers. There's also that library that has the event guides with it, and Amara is a great resource. I'm trying to be a great resource. So, you've got tools there if it makes the day easier. Venture Dash is a great tool. So the state competition, as mentioned, is April 28th at K-State. Chad Jackson and Tara Jackson are the organizers of that event and the authority on all things KEC. I'm currently planning to be in person, but obviously with COVID, we're kind of, there's potential for changes, but we're trying to stay on top of that and as educated as we can and get that information to you guys. And as Amara had mentioned, there is the Kec Prep Course now available. That is, I believe it's only 4 assignments. It's done through Google document because Chad wanted to make sure that it remained no cost to schools and resources that wanted, resource partners that wanted to use it. So it took a little bit to get here, but it's just because we've been trying to do it at a low cost or no cost way to the community. So that's not something anyone needs to worry about. They had mentioned doing a upon completion of the prep course and competing at state, potential for an additional $50 of prize money and a certificate for completing that prep course. So there's another opportunity to get money for the business, for the students as we kind of go through this. All right, any questions?
Hi, Bailey. This is Ashley Sherrist in Shawnee County. So we are 100% brand new, like baby face new. And we have our sanction, we've applied, and you helped me when I screwed that up. So now I'm hoping you can help me with that, with kind of some general questions where, we want to get this pushed out to our schools and our clubs and organizations as soon as possible. So I'm definitely going to go check out that resource center. So this might be a kind of a duplicate question, but I'm really looking to kind of, quite frankly, see old competitions or see materials from prior competitions that that we might want to, quite frankly, steal some great information and use it, and maybe there's some stuff that won't work for us. Is that resource area where we could go to do that, or where can we even see old, like, Venture Dash online programs?
Yes, they're through the resource guide that we sent out. There's things like flyers, there's old executive summaries. As you're kind of publicizing the event, there's even like media releases that you kind of just have to fill in the blanks in terms of some of the pushing it out to the public. And then I'll lean on Amara a little bit to kind of talk about some of the past competitions or the templates on Venture Dash.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to help. So like Bailey said, a lot of this is online to where you can go into that resource center and find examples of past executive summary, templates, flyers, etc. We are also, we have a physical copy. We call it the resource guide. It's like a book of everything that's in the online help center that we're going to mail out. So Ashley, that should go to Gary, but he can definitely share with you. And then if you want an extra copy, just let us know. We can get you one as well. As far as like old competitions, those are, did you mean that you wanted to see like the actual event on Venture Dash, or you just wanted to know like what other competitions did in the past?
Yes. And I will say, I probably don't know what I want to see, to be honest.
Okay. So one thing I would suggest is going into that help center and just browsing. I think I mentioned there's some notes from our YEC Summit I would encourage you to check out. So what we do is every year we have a summit for YEC organizers to gather and talk about ideas and best practices and things that worked for them. So we actually just had that in June. And then Bailey was there and took notes and compiled all of the notes about everything everyone shared there. So there's a lot of meat in there about what people have been doing and best practices that work for different events. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out.
Sierra, did you have something to add?
Oh, I always do. No, I was going to say, the other thing I feel like, especially for a first time competition, leaning on your coach, there's a lot of times we'll try to keep track and send out reminders of other events that are happening. And so if there's an event that's happening, maybe this fall or at the early spring, maybe you can go see one in person or log into a virtual event that does happen this year. But that would probably be something I would say, Ashley, to go talk to your regional point person, and they can kind of get you up to speed or provide you some examples to get you ready.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to second that, Ashley. I'm just so excited that you're willing to step out and do a new competition this year. I just want to let you know that you're not alone. You got a whole team of us here at Network Kansas to help, and that goes with anybody. If you've got any ideas, we're willing to walk you through different ideas to make sure that this event is perfect for you. Every event is so different. We want to make sure that it meets your needs. You don't need to be a cookie cutter event from copy somebody else. We really want to make sure that this meets your needs and is exactly how you picture in your mind. So we're happy to walk through all of this with you. So just reach out to any of us.
Jim, what was your question?
Bailey, hi. Good morning. I just, that we have a new instructor. His name is Keegan Finch. I think you met him at the summit, and he is on fire. And of course, this is during his class period, so I'm watching in, and I'm grateful that it's recorded because he'll be able to check in later. I would venture to guess that I won't be doing anything without his approval and timeline. I would venture to guess that we're going to do an in-person competition here. What I don't know is if we'll venture out into the school level. I may lean on Christy who's done that already to how we can find a piece of that. And I would guess that our competition I know our competition is going to be in the spring because of the way the class schedule is. but that tells you a little bit of our intent, just so you're not wondering.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Sat next to him. He had some awesome ideas as a first year teacher to begin with. So yeah, excited to see what comes from there. Jim, did you have a question?
I just wanted to kind of add on to the comment that was made a couple minutes ago. You know, as a county that is doing this for the first time, the summit was great. This session is great. You know, if we could continue this dialogue and have ways where we can exchange ideas as we work through this, you know, I don't know if there's an email listserv that could be set up so people could throw questions out there as they're working through this, or if we could have another one of these sessions here, you know, maybe in 2 months, where we could kind of come back and just make sure that, you know, have this kind of discussion. I think it would be great, because for us being new too, it's great to hear other people talking. And I'm sure as we go through this, you know, and other people are getting started, they'll have hiccups that we might be able to learn from. So I think if we could continue this conversation somehow, it would be great and very helpful for us.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jim, for that feedback. We'll definitely keep that in consideration. And yeah, feel free to reach out. Sierra had a good point about the coach, and Sarah said any of us, we're happy to help with that. We want to keep you in touch with people. Peer learning is important. So that feedback is very valuable.
Any other questions?
Good morning. This is Christy Hopkins here in Greeley County. I may have just missed it, but could you talk a little bit, could you remind me what the format is for the statewide competition? Are we still doing trade rooms? And I apologize, I had to step away for a second, so apologize if this is a repeat. Not trade rooms, but boardrooms, the mock boardroom.
Yeah, I believe the plan is still to do the same format with the mock boardrooms and the same new scoring that they did this year, where they gave the students a rating and more people had access to prize money. I believe Chad's plan is to do pretty much the exact same thing this year, hopefully in person, trying really hard to be in person. And then him and Tara, who replaced Arlena, if you guys were familiar with Arlena, they are going to be doing a KEC webinar sometime probably in September. We haven't received the date for that yet, but we'll be keeping you guys up to date when they do decide when they are going to be able to schedule that webinar.
Okay, thank you for covering that again for me.
And Ashley, I believe as the, I saw your message, as the events are published, they'll be posted on our calendar on our website, right, Amara? So there'll be a list,
Yeah.
and then your regional coach would be another good resource that could kind of tell you ones that are maybe more in your area or easier to commute to for you.
Right. Yeah, they get posted on our calendar, as Bailey said. And then once we have the list of all dates on that sanction deadline, we'll get an updated list on our YEC page on the website and on the Venture Dash link. Yeah, and Ashley, I know you're working with Gary, who's with the e-community. The coach for Network Kansas is Jen Laird. I don't know if you've had a chance to connect with her, but we'd be happy to help make that connection.
Yes, I met her last week. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Any other questions so far? Oh, Sierra.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to kind of say to the newbies, you know, don't feel nervous about this. One of the things I've heard Eric say, and I like, is like your second event will be great because you do your first one. And your first one, you know, don't have these crazy high expectations that there's going to be, you know, the community. I mean, if you can, great. But this, we know we're working with rural communities. We're also during COVID. We have a lot of things that are kind of up in the air on if you're going to have it in person or if you're virtual. So just know that we're here to help. But also, I mean, if you only get a few students that participate in this first year, that's still a huge success to us. And then maybe next year we can get more of a classroom or another classroom added, or maybe we can get another high school added. So don't feel too nervous as you go forward. Some of our veteran YEC events are really cool, and we talk about those successes, but any small success or any small event is still a success for us, and just know we're here to help.
All right. Anything else, guys? Like Sierra said and Amara said, we're here for you guys if you need anything. And, I'll kind of mirror what Sierra said. Any event, sometimes the hardest step is that first step. So don't, think you have to have this, giant event or do everything that you've ever heard us mention all in your first event. Start small, do what you can. It's like a snowball. It might start small, but it could grow as you keep kind of pushing it along. So feel free to start small, or, the more kids kind of hear about it or see kids winning real money, that'll kind of speak for itself, or, get them excited on their own. And, it'll become more organic in nature. And sometimes it's hard as you're kind of this outside person if you're trying to reach into the schools or be that person. But once they start learning about it a little bit more, I think it'll be easier. And like I said, don't try to solve it all in one fell swoop. There's a lot of resources here, whether it's us, whether it's another community that's hosted an event, or someone that maybe kind of reflects your kind of what you're wanting. So we're always here.
I see a quick question in the chat. Clay County says, would it be a conflict of interest if my Mason judge is also going to be a KEC judge? That actually is a really good question. And I would say, let me think about that and get Chad's opinion. And we'll get back to you on that. We haven't had that come up before, but thank you for bringing that up.
And I'll add on the Mason thing. We do have a list of all the lodges in the state of Kansas. If you're unable to, don't know a Mason or are struggling to find that, we can get you kind of that list and help get you in contact with someone. They should be kind of aware of this, but if they're not, the state's aware, and they're a partner with KEC and YEC. So.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I think we're good. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to Bailey. Let us know how we can help you. We're happy to. Thank you guys for taking the time today to be with us. And we'll be sending out a link to the recording as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.